American University in Bulgaria.
Okay, so let me start with the thanking part. First, thank you very much for coming. I see that most of you have been my students or are my students, so I supposed that this will be the kind of audience we are getting tonight. Therefore, my lecture tonight will be drawing very heavily on the last 2 weeks of classes, and I'll have a lot of questions to ask, and therefore take this as a compliment to what your strategic management course is. So definitely is something that I try to integrate into our intellectual search together. And I'd like to present the outline for this presentation first. I'd like to thank the organizers and the AUBGTalks for having me tonight. And I would like to have, I wanted to have a very short and to the point presentation. Therefore, I settled for only 3 kind of topics that I'll rather touch than discuss in depth. But I just want to give you the feeling of the type of questions that stand in the that particular industry, the higher education industry. You are both the buyers and the suppliers of that industry, and I think it'll be doing a lot of good to you if you understand how this industry works. We have the pleasure to have an expert with a very big tenure and experience in that industry to serve as a discussant, and I'll hope he will take on that role. But I'd like also to have you guys reacting because you're part of it today. And therefore, let me start with what I plan to do tonight in this room. I plan to show you how economists have looked at the industry. And I'm going to talk about the human capital theory and the signaling theory in higher education very superficially. So no models, no objective functions, and no maximization. Okay, I'll go through only to the to look at the intuition behind this, so that you understand how these people think of what you're doing. The second part is about the technology. I'd like to focus on the internet and the challenges it poses on that industry and how that general purpose technology changes the attractiveness of the industry as we define it in class. That is, the potential for this industry to generate and appropriate value. And finally, I'd like to propose a set of hypotheses that, in my mind, come naturally by combining point 1 and point 2, but I'll see how natural that third point will be in your own eyes. And this is where I'd like very much to have a discussion with you and with other people in the room that have been working on that type of projects of how to integrate internet in this particular high education institution. So this is what I plan to do tonight. So the human capital theory versus the signaling theory in higher education is something that I believe is something that most of you have heard of. The human capital theory and the signaling theory matter mostly for macroeconomists because they'd like to understand the particular mechanism behind the correlation. And the correlation is what? A positive correlation between the level of education that you get and the return to that, that is the wage, the salary that you expect to receive. And people have been showing us data that is consistent with the idea of a positive correlation. There is tons of evidence that such kind of correlation exists. And this is where I'll ask you, why are you here? Aren't you hoping for this kind of a correlation? You are, right? So you kind of believe these people that are saying such correlation exists because you in your own life believe this is how things work. Therefore, it will not be very hard for you to buy the argument that I borrowed from Chevalier et al. 2004 paper, who tries to quantify that return to investment. And he believes that in his study, he found that there is a 10% return on an additional year of schooling. So the more years you spend educating yourself, investing in your talents and skills, the higher the salary. And it's kind of an increasing function. It's nice to see that, right? Because it kind of justifies your choice. You're here, so you're smart people. So let's look at the third point out there. And the third point is, I would say, irrelevant to you. That is, how would that magic work? How will this positive correlation actually happen? What do you expect? Why do you think that the 4 years you spent on campus make a difference? What's the mechanism behind that? We've been working on that 2 weeks. Don't tell me you don't know how to build a causal relation. Okay, so we have a cause and we have an effect. The cause is you stay on campus 4 years. That's time and money. And you expect a higher salary. Why? What is happening in between those two parts? What's in there?
Knowledge and skills.
Knowledge and skills. Other people?
Networking.
Networking, very nice. Networking. What else do you get? Experience. What kind of? What do you mean by experience? Communication experience. So the skill part, you're gaining soft skills such as your ability to talk to people and listen to people, okay?
And the degree.
And the degree. What does that mean? What does the degree mean?
Well, supposedly it has all the things we mentioned behind it, but it's also something that people look for. I might have the skills and all of the aforementioned.
So you were the guy that we were missing. So we basically have the components of the two theories. So let's now study, let's now look at the basic, I cannot move that, but can you please? Thank you. The basic intuition behind those theories. So you have the human capital theory. That is, the hard work pays off. You're here, you accumulate skills, you grow what people call your human capital, and as a result, somebody pays you more because you can do more things. And it kind of seems natural. Okay? And there is an alternative to that, and this is your point. It doesn't really matter what happens here related to the accumulation of those skills. Your idea fits nicely, I'm sorry about that, with the signaling theory. Let me tell you how the signaling theory works. According to it, education is not meant to provide you with any, I'll exaggerate and use probably a wrong word, but it'll make you understand, I think, better the idea. Useful skills. It's just a signal that helps your employers understand who are the talented people, and talented means you were born that way, and who are not. And the underlying intuition behind that and the mechanism is the following. You have a broad population of people with different talents, and I want to hire 20 of you. How will I know who are the most talented 20 persons in that room? I want you to show me your talents. So by you investing in 4 years in higher education, you show me that the cost for you, because you're talented, for spending 4 years on campus is lower than the cost for somebody for whom it will be much harder because he or she has a lot less talent. Do you see? So it's the relative cost in terms of how hard is it for me to learn that will drive that separating equilibrium between talented people and not so talented people. So education is not productive in any way, according to this theory. It's just a mechanism that sends information about who the right people for the job are. Okay? And that's the signaling theory. And it helps me understand where I stand, who is in front of me. The problem with that is that I cannot get into your head and figure out how talented you are. So you have to show me in a credible way this. And education will be that credible signaling mechanism. And people have been using this approach to educational, to investment in education quite a lot in economics, and I'll show you now what are the implications of that. Okay, this is where I want to be. So, human capital theory versus signaling theory. I mean, you guys, as the students, shouldn't really care. What you care about is this positive correlation. I spend time here, and I get a higher salary, and you don't want to know a lot about the mechanism, or do you?
No, we do.
You do? Why do you care?
Not because it's very persuasive.
Okay. I mean, I would be worried if that would be the only reason.
Because you can really use the information that you get. When you understand the theory itself, you can get out of it more. And you can find the ways that you would never find if not knowing it.
Okay.
So information is a power.
Okay.
The more you know, the more you can do.
Okay, so your idea is that it's better to understand your own condition because you can act in an informed way in the future. Nice. Okay. Any other reasons why you'd like to see what kind of mechanism drives that positive correlation behind you spending your time and money here and you getting a higher wage?
Well, it personally justifies the time you spend here.
Right. Because education is very expensive. This is probably the biggest investment you have made in your life so far. And you want to see a return on that. And you want to see whether this expensive signal is working, right? It will be very important to you. Wouldn't it? Okay, so, I mean, there are a number of reasons why you should care to understand how you can influence those mechanisms so that they work better for you. That is, there is a clear relation between your investment and the return to that investment, right? So it's an expensive signal, and this is one motivation. There is one particular concern with that, and it is that education might not be a good signal because there are some budget constraints. There are people who are very smart, who just cannot afford to go to school, but they're very talented. So if this signaling theory were true, if this is how things worked, then we would be excluding a set of very talented people who are somehow unprivileged. And therefore, we would rely on a system of loans that would allow access to the system. And therefore, if we really believe this is how higher education works, and these are the mechanisms behind the demand for high educational service, then we should care a lot about that budget constraint factor, right? And because there is also frequently misperceptions about the size of the returns. So people, especially you guys at the age that you're, are very confused about what exactly they can expect in life in terms of salary and over how many years they can get a reasonable return on their investment, so forth. So because you are not using quantitative information about those issues, you might want to try to quantify that aspect of your life and about that aspect of your investment. So all these might be good reasons for you to look at the data and try to see what is going on there, how this industry really works, what are the mechanisms that determine the equilibrium in the industry, and why do we care? When I say we, I mean people that are part of that industry. And as somebody who is in front of you tonight, I should care, because these different motivations mean that I stand in front of different people. People that want different things in life. I stand in the first case, in the case of the human capital theory, I'm in front of people who are hungry for knowledge, who believe that what they learn here matters. In a second world, I'm in front of people who believe that they're here so that somebody certifies how smart they were born. And this profoundly changes my interaction with you and your expectations of who I am and who I should be in this relation. You see? So this is a very important question for me, and it's a very important question to understand these people who are now in the room, what they think about their motivation, the underlying reasons for being here. And I'd like, at some minutes from now, give you the opportunity to tell me that. Okay. If I was able to show you how important this question is for you personally, which I hope I did, I'd like to show you now the second part, the second element for what I planned to show you. I'd like this one, the internet. Thank you. So, if it were not enough, we have, some people say, a game changer in the industry. We have a radical innovation that is not proprietary. This is how internet is defined in technical terms, right? Very little can be patented in relation to the usage of the internet. And everybody uses it. And it had, in the past, changed the way people were making money in different industries. It was extremely disruptive for music industry. A lot less disruptive, let's say, for retailing industry. So the underlying message is that industry specificities matter before we are able to fully assess the impact of internet on that industry. So we have to look at what are the specificities of our industries. What is the behavior of our clients in order to see how the internet can change our industry, that is the higher education industry. And let's see who has something to say about that. And now I need to go, do you know who the guy is? A guess. MP? Yes! You know, he used to be a student of mine, so he knows his thing. So this is Michael Porter. One more time, okay? Okay, and what does Michael Porter has to tell us here? He wrote an article in 2001 that was published in the Harvard Business Review, and the title of the article is Strategy and the Internet, in which he tries to foresee the long-term impact of that disruptive, non-proprietary technology, the internet, on the overall potential of industries to retain value, that is, to be more profitable. And he gets into a very funny conclusion, but before we jump to the conclusion, I would like to show you something with which you are very familiar since last week. Okay. This is the thing. You don't need to read that, okay? Just count the things. There are 5. So you know what it's about, right? It's the 5 forces model. You had enough of that. But I'll tell you what Michael Porter does in this article. He looks at those underlying microeconomic fundamentals behind the 5 forces that we covered. And he tries to see how the internet would affect each one of those. And he puts some pluses and minuses on that map. You can see these pluses and minuses, and I refer to these things here, do you see, in brackets. Signaling, or not signaling because I use that in a very technical way, but communicating to us the way in which he expects the internet to affect that particular force. And just for those, very few of you, who are not in my strategy courses, who have not been, but probably will be there, the 5 forces model is a model that tries to assess the profitability, the potential for making money of an industry, not of an organization, but the industry. And it looks at the following 5 elements: the barriers to entry, down here, the threat of substitute products or services, the rivalry among existing competitors, the bargaining power of suppliers, and the bargaining power of buyers. What we optimally would like for an industry that is our industry, from my perspective, I'm a part of that industry, is to have an attractive industry that means low threat of substitutes, high barriers to entry, low rivalry, weak bargaining power suppliers, and weak bargaining power of buyers. So to make that story short, Michael Porter, when he inspects all the things here, concludes that unfortunately, the internet is shifting the power to buyers, and that it decreases the barriers to entry. It makes entry easier, and it makes everything more democratic. Buyers can choose, and other competitors can enter at a lower cost. On average, that would be the impact of the internet over every industry out there. You see how overreaching this argument is? It's not about a specific industry. He makes a prediction about everything in life. He says buyers will be empowered and rivalry will be more intense, irrespective of where you stand. Now, you also have to take some considerations about the details, but on average, you expect internet to be extremely disruptive because it has the potential to decrease the average profitability of industries, every industry, including ours. So this is the context in which we live. We have those theories about why you guys are here. We know how new technologies that are part of your life are affecting our industry. So let's see what can we expect as an outcome. What can we reasonably predict will happen if we combine the motivation behind higher education investment and the disruptive, lowering cost, increased intensity of rivalry, functions of the internet. And this is where I would like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be here. I want to be somewhere where I forward several hypotheses, and this is the first one of them. So I want to propose here several conjectures, ideas of how Michael Porter's insight, plus what macroeconomists tells us about investment in higher education can do for us. And the first hypothesis that I elaborated for you to discuss here would be related to the human capital theory. That is, if you guys believe that we are actually helping you here, if you're actually developing your talents, not just putting a signal, a quality signal on you. What can we, in fact, predict in terms of industry development and the ultimate outcome for everybody in there? You remember, internet is making the industry more democratic. It expands the markets. Therefore, it would give higher education institutions a broader reach, which is fantastic. We'll have a lot more human potential developed because big institutions can reach people in rural India who read English and who can develop further their skills and their knowledge about an agricultural problem, for example. This can make a big difference locally, but also at a global scale. So what we know is that big schools have embraced that potential to expand the market. And they have posted for free all information regarding the syllabi that they follow, and they also have posted videos of their instructors teaching online. Not even that. They're doing that for free or for a very tiny fee. So definitely these people believe in an impact that they can make on the set of skills people in the world can develop. So it's not all about the seal, the quality seal. These people would like to make a difference in some other way. And apparently, they are moving in that direction. And they're doing something very radical. They disclose everything for free. Are they mediocre? Are they stupid? Are they myopic? What must be there that would not scare them off from following that type of a strategy? You see, they're very aggressively buying that high potential development of the humankind, democratization of the higher education model. Yes?
Well, they still know that people will value the signal they put on. The example is that I might follow the MIT Open courseware online, but I still don't get the benefit of the degree. So I might have the human capital, but I don't have the degree.
Okay, you go.
I think they do it with the reason that they will benefit from it in the future, that they will get the more educated people. And as taking like MIT courses online for free, I will be attracted to MIT, and next time I would probably apply to MIT. And if I'm a very talented person, MIT will recognize this and use my talents to succeed in something else. So they're using this. It's not just like they're stupid or something.
Okay, so you'd be interested in applying for a different kind of service to them. Okay, nice. So they kind of, it's a hook, and they use it, and they try to bond it to something else, and they send probably bundles of things, not only that online content, and they expect kind of return customers. You know, if that were true, they would be extremely successful because they have this enormous reach. The problem with these courses is how many people actually stay to complete them. And this is a very tiny fraction of people who show the initial interest, but then something else happens. And these people are not motivated to follow through and somehow drop out of the whole process. It's democratic, it's for free. Are people using it?
No.
Not to the fullest extent possible out there, because education is a two-way street, right? So you need, the thing is, you want also to be heard. And this probably, but I'm not going there. I just want to hear a bit of your perceptions of how that kind of a model compares to the standard educational model that we all know of offline university education. Another hypothesis that I have here is that if in fact, internet is the great enabler. Education is going to be widespread, and the budget constraints will not be relevant because much of the content is for free. That's fantastic. You see, these people are contributing to building a better world. That's nice, right? That's kind of fantastic. I mean, I'll be proud to live in that kind of a world. I'll be happy to greet that new kind of a humankind that is well trained. And my latest hypothesis here is that universities, if internet is such a great enabler, and if they can make a difference without being scared, they should be doing that. Not only MIT and Harvard, but everybody. Why? Why do you think they should be doing that? Why do you think Virginia Tech or Texas A&M should be doing that?
It's a great opportunity.
For what?
Make a better world.
Make a better world? Is that the only thing?
Also to show that they're not worse than others. To be a leader in the market.
Can they be hopeful to be a leader? Can they be hopeful? Can you become a leader online if you are not a leader in standard offline kind of a service?
Of course you can.
Can you? Okay. Any examples?
Amazon.
Amazon? Why Amazon became the leader in the online market?
Well, Amazon started as an online company.
And who are they competing with?
The brick and mortar.
Who was the biggest competitor in the US at the time? Was that Barnes & Noble? Was the biggest online store. And do you know why the Barnes & Noble lost the battle with Amazon? What's your hypothesis there? Okay, because the internet changed totally the type of the competition. They changed the asset intensity of the business. It became such a lower cost business to sell books online because you didn't have to have the library at home, at your own premises. The book can be wherever they are. They can be at the printing houses, but you're still selling them. So that's a fantastic cost advantage that the Amazon had. But was Barnes & Noble behaving the way you'd expect? I mean, this was the leader, the national leader in book selling. Amazon comes from nowhere. They have a very simple web page. The internet is growing, but it's kind of uncertain. And they somehow overshadow Barnes & Noble. Do you know what's kind of the biggest criticism towards Barnes & Noble? Their inability to leverage what they had, which was the personal experience. Because it added value. And we'll see how that personal experience actually adds value in our own industry. Okay? Because our own industry is not selling books at a distance. It's about something else that I'd like, and it's about the diploma, but not only. The diploma is important. So, universities should be visible online because this is how you create impact for free. The problem here is for free. So it's a very bad revenue model. You give things away, and you can hope to bundle them in some kind of packages. You can argue that you develop a relationship with a customer who can be returning some in the future and stay with you. We don't have enough evidence of returning customers, and there is a terrible drop rate in those kind of courses that are based on the internet. So I don't believe we can be very hopeful to make any money through this. But what we do is that we matter. In the internet world, if we are not there, we do not exist. So it's not that it'll make a difference. It is that it is a must to be there. That is, it's not a core resource. It's not something that would set anybody apart. But everybody should expect you to be there at least. You see? You go.
Do you think AUBG should go into this field?
Which field?
Online education.
No, I think AUBG should be projecting the interesting things happening on campus. So I don't argue in favor of online education. I argue in favor of letting people know the interesting thing happening on campus, which is what these people do. They have Guy Kawasaki coming on campus, delivering a 30-minute lecture. And everybody's fascinating, and my students in my entrepreneurship course send me emails and posting on YouTube saying, look at that other things. Why can't we have that? Why can't students at other universities do this, saying, look at this person who was at the AUBG campus and delivered that lecture? I'm arguing that this is an important tool to be visible. I don't believe it is a make it or break it asset. But if you want to be in the game, this is the price you pay not to win, but to enter. And I have another set of hypotheses before I turn to you mostly to share, to listen to your own ideas about this, and the signaling theory. Let's look at what the signaling theory would do if we combine with the enabler, the internet factor. Traditional signals will be weaker because education is getting cheaper. Remember, the key there is that you get lower entry cost in that industry. So more people come in the industry and provide opportunities to take courses with them. Okay? And more people are doing that for free at a lower cost. So that's why internet is democratic, it's the great enabler. Now, if we go in the direction of the signaling theory, this would mean that the signal will be weaker. There will be weaker mechanism that will help me differentiate among the talented and not so talented, because the not so talented people will have lower hurdles to overcome and still get a diploma. The diploma will become progressively meaningless.
Is it a financial hurdle you're talking about? Or?
It's the time, the talent hurdle. How much you want to sit in front of a computer, make your assignments, submit them, get the feedback, everything. That's what I mean. So if getting a diploma for higher education online is the signal, you have a diploma, you go to the employer and he buys it, then internet will dilute the value of it, because everybody eventually will get a diploma, right? If you believe that your diploma differentiates you from somebody else because you're more talented, it's a terrible news for you. It's terrible news for you. You don't want that. So let's see what you can do and what we can do, which is great for us, by the way. So I like that part, because as part, I'm the incumbent. So so why the incumbent like that? New signals are more expensive, of course. This would not eliminate the asymmetry of information. Employers still would like to know who is more talented, and the most talented people will still be more willing to show off and prove that they're different from that other guy. This is the asymmetry of information as a problem in the employee-employer relationship will never end, will never stop existing. So that's the good news. Therefore, the signals, the new signals, meaningful signals, will become more expensive.
I guess to support this hypothesis, an example of MBA programs can come in, because once it became pretty easy to get a degree, smart people thought we're going to give you a super degree, MBA, but
Exactly.
more money.
And more selective. Meaning that now that we have the reach of the world, we are not making you pay extraordinary amount of money, but we become more picky, because now we have the reach to global talent. It's not only local, because now we have that opportunity, technologically enabled. Therefore, it's kind of, these rare, incredibly talented people are like rare diamonds. There is just kind of a share of population that has that kind of genes, that kind of brains, that are extraordinary. Therefore, the bigger share of the population you can reach, the higher the chances that you're getting the smartest of the smartest, the talented of the talented. Therefore, you are not at the local level of competition for talent, but at the global. And you guys live in this world, right? You compete with guys in China and India when you apply for MBAs. And this is a reality, okay? So keep that in mind, because this changed definitely your options if you think it this way. So new signals will necessarily replace the old signals, because the problem is still there. We still want the best, and we still need a mechanism to select those people. So even now that everybody has a diploma, we need a super diploma. And the competition for these signals, by the way, is global. So the paying capacity of people is global. So more rich people are there around, and more rich, talented people are there. So you see how it gets harder and harder for you? You see that? Okay, so next time I have an enrollment in my entrepreneurship course, you all enroll, okay? And the third hypothesis here is that the new signals are going to be more, I said that, I'm sorry, not less expensive. The fourth one, and this is the very last one. Schools should be active on the internet because they can or need to attract global talent. Remember, it's all about selection. The thing that, kind of the message that I want to send here is, again, the fundamental reason behind having a higher degree education is because you want to be different from somebody else. But then being different, being in a position to communicate more credibly to your employer that you're different, depends on the ability of your school to protect that reputation of exclusivity, to create it in the first place, and the second, to protect it. I already said that internet will not help you to create that. That reputation is largely created offline, and you leverage that, I believe, online. But being in the game is what new technologies allow you. They will tell you to your employer, these people, I can see a sample of what these people are doing. I can see who is going on campus, and I can see how active the audience is with Q&A. I want to recruit. I want to go on campus. I want these people. And when I sit with your interview to some of your potential employers, which I did on Monday, which was yesterday, I was very proud to hear people saying, when we sit in front, an AUBG graduate is so refreshing. These people know how to present themselves. And this is an employer who is currently recruiting very heavily guys like you. So we have the reputation, no doubt about that. It's about keeping that and communicating that we're of that nature. And there are, I believe, small steps in which we can take, so that we don't only keep the reputation, but we are an integral part of the global game of higher education. And one of those steps is that we are visible, that we are there, that we have an online identity. And I'm here to support one particular initiative that has been taking place on campus, and behind which there is a team of people, but there are two champions behind that project. And these are Stoil and Professor Melody Gilbert. And I would like Stoil to tell how his work supports what we believe in.
Thanks, Professor. Hi, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Stoil, and 1 year ago, me and Professor Gilbert started this project called AUBGTalks, and the idea of the project is to film all of the guest speakers and interesting lectures that happen on campus and put them on YouTube for the world to see. And it's been a year now, and we have lots of talks, most of which are not published yet, but we're working on that. And the idea of AUBGTalks is to bridge this gap, what Professor Andonova said, to help make AUBG more visible to the world, and also to not lose this valuable information that these people have to give. Because some of these people who come on campus, they only come once. They might never come again. And before I started this project, I was astonished that no one is trying to record this, because there were some brilliant speakers who I heard talk and who probably never come again, from America and etc. And that's basically the idea of the project. This is our website. It is at www.aubg.bg/talks. And here we have all of the talks we have currently published. We have 6 talks. The latest one is from the Global Regional and Bulgarian Context for Business Creation, which is part of Professor Andonova's Entrepreneurship lecture series with Steve Kyle and Pavel Ezekiev. Other things on the website. You can see the team we have doing.
Which thing?
Up, scroll up. These are the people who are working currently on the project. We have people who are shooting the videos, like Professor Gilbert is doing right now. That's our camera right there.
And she's got the microphone on down there.
Which is the light over here. So that's the technology that is required to have this on the web.
Yeah, it's just that. And then you need to edit the videos and just put them online for the whole world to see. Currently we have around more than 1,000 video views on YouTube. And they're increasing.
And follow on Twitter and Facebook?
Yeah.
Social media?
You can follow us on Twitter and Facebook. You can see our YouTube channel over there.
And we have questions, by the way, by the audience, which is fantastic.
I have a question.
Nikki.
Like, you have plans to grow this in a way in which you can record all AUBG events, and because it seems to me that we accumulate so much knowledge here in the school, it would be great if it's all in one place.
Did you notice what he just said? We accumulate so much knowledge at AUBG. Do we have that recorded, Melody? Thank you. Konstantin?
I was on the lecture that you just spoke about, and I think you should announce there, hey guys, by the way, you can later see this video on the website, because it's the first time, I mean, I'm kind of slow about the thing, but it's the first time I hear about AUBGTalks, and so maybe if you put somewhere, check, like, go on YouTube and to see this talk online.
Yeah, so both of you just read my mind.
Yeah.
So to answer Nikki's question, the idea for the future of the project is to make it an integral part of the university. To make it something like a media services department or office, which the only thing they do is record these talks, record all the events that happen on campus and put them online or store it for students to see. That's the idea for the future of the project, and we're currently trying to grow it and to get there, but it's not so quick. And your question, Konstantin? Yeah, we're working on publicizing the project. We just got a social media person, Katerina, over there, and we're going to work towards making all of this information more visible to students mostly, and also to the world. So yeah, that was the thing I wanted to talk about next, about the future of the project. And the final thing I've got to say is that we're currently recruiting. We just got approved for 3 work-study positions, for a camera person who's going to record the lectures, for an editor who's going to edit them and help put them online, and also for an assistant project manager who's going to one day be the head of the project, the new head of the project. So, back to you.
I just want to elaborate and put in different terms what he just said. And I want to say that if you believe in the signaling theory, which many of you, I think, feel very strong about that, it has something in it, then guys, when you leave this place, the only thing you have is your university reputation. That's the biggest asset you possess. And these people are working to grow that reputation and make it stronger. That is, your employer would hopefully notice, and that will make a difference in the life of each one of you. So I would say a big thank you to Stoil and Melody for doing that great service for all people who are now affiliated with AUBG, because I believe this is exactly what they are doing. And in order, thank you very much, and I just want to go through, Melody, can we go to my conclusions kind of thing? Because I want to hear mostly them now, but before that, I have one last slide. And that is, great. Motivation. The way I've approached that educational presentation and why you do it and why internet makes a difference in that industry has nothing to do with your personal motivation of doing that, which usually is not all about the money. There is something else behind your motivation, because if I ask you about the return rate of your investment, I'll get probably very fuzzy answers of how much money do you expect to make in the next 10 years, and would that have justify your investment in time and effort here? Do you have a clear answer to that? Not really. And I suspect that most of you kind of feel the same way. So it kind of works well, it's intuitive, but it's not really the way people calculate that. It's approximate and intuitive most of the time. And what I believe makes a difference when I come into the classroom doesn't depend on where you come to my classroom because you're getting the skill set or a diploma, if you're motivated to do that. So the energy and the enthusiasm in students, I believe, is the asset we should cultivate. We, the incumbents, the other side of the table. And I definitely believe that by showing you, making you perceive the richness of experiences and the different choices that you can make while on campus can help in that, can help you be turned on during those years and to see why it really pays off. And I believe make that tangible, make that visible, can help us all to have a more enthusiastic, high-energy, entrepreneurial type of environment, even in my mandatory course where you have to go there, even though you don't want to be there. But I really want to see those kind of sparkling eyes in front of me, which makes a lot of difference for me. And I believe, and that's why I support Stoil and Melody with that, I believe it makes a difference. So, internet and behavior, no doubt. The internet has changed the attention span of our younger generation. You guys, I can tell you that I put a lot more effort to keep your attention than I used to do, to put in terms of how entertaining shall I be in the classroom. So I've been increasing the entertainment part of my class from semester to semester. And this is because you are different. You switch to your smartphone the 5th minute I'm trying to talk about utility functions and equilibria. You see? Okay, so that's a reality. You are multitasking. You're doing 1 million things in your life because you can. You have the technology. That's a reality. You have a different work-life balance and choice. So when I am online and I'm sending email or receiving email, you know, we do that with several of you at weird times. So I see how you kind of manage your time in a different way. What is work and what is not work is different for you. And the time to do work is, let's say, unconventional for many of you. The timing of education, you know, that's something that I haven't been observing here on campus, but that's a global trend. People are going to school more often at a later stage in life. So we get on a global, I'm not talking about AUBG here, but as an industry, we are getting a little bit older population in the classroom, a population that is doing something else in life as well. So we need to control for that. You're also doing a lot of things in life. So that kind of a multitasking balance of raising kids and doing internships while studying becomes a relevant factor, a trend. And the duration of educational programs. I can tell you that before joining AUBG, I've been working for a number of institutions, and there have been always this fear that, aren't we too tough? Isn't our program too long? Isn't our graduate project too difficult to pass? Because our competitors are doing it kind of nicer, okay, kind of easier. So I have experienced firsthand the trend of the demand for shorter, more targeted, kind of easier going type of a service. So, and this internet can help all of this, but we are still in the business of giving you skills and knowledge and certifying you. And this will never change. Your need to show that you're smarter than somebody else will never die. So our industry will be there forever. It's that the means would be different, and we have to adjust in the ways in which internet has changed your life. So I believe that we are now looking at an industry with, yes, lower barriers to entry. Yes, probably some content is for free, that is, rivalry is there on the price side. And we have people who are using technology for other purposes, and they're used to it. They're clever and they master it. So we need to adapt. But the fundamental reason behind you're in the classroom will not change. And that fundamental reason is related to two things. First, you want to be able to do more things and better things, and we can help you because we provide you the feedback that you need. So that learning, which is interactive, is something that you need an expert in order to develop. And the second is because you need a certificate of talent. And this will never change. Therefore, our relation will change. The value of the main asset, the institutional reputation, will be kind of shaped by different means, by technological means, but the ultimate reason for you being here will remain here. And because you guys are going out of this school very soon, you should care and you should pay back to the project that helps the reputation of this place be maintained and be enhanced. So what I would expect is that you tell people about what is going on here and help the reputation of AUBG as a place where interesting things happen be spread. And this is where I'd like to hear about your experiences, about your own motivation, and about the problems you might see with AUBG content and events posted online. Konstantin.
I think it's actually really cool because speaking that AUBG has a good reputation, it is true, but it's mostly locally. Once you go somewhere abroad, it's not that well known. But if you put it online and people can receive from other countries, then it might be known online. Because, for example, let's say I applied for a job in States and he just Googles AUBG and then he sees all those videos. He can say, well, that's a good school, this guy can be smart. So for people who are going to search for a job outside Bulgaria, I only see like benefits in this system.
Any other reactions?
AUBG has this reputation of a very fun place to be. So
fun.
I think very fun place. So I think AUBGTalks is very helpful because it will add academic videos to all the more honors videos and all to the jobs videos that are out there regarding AUBG.
So we can control the content unlike other content.
Yes.
Okay. I think that's a very good insight. Other ideas of what can be done through technology to enhance your investment? Yes?
Bring all the courses online and bring as many people you can to study in this school. The problem of certification can be solved with personal examinations, so there's no cheating. And this can give such an edge on the countries that have good reputation for low costs such as...
I know several of you have taken online, I mean, I've talked to you, some of those online courses of NYU. Somebody was telling me about those. And do you think they offer an advantage to what you're getting here? And what kind of advantage? You're the customer, so.
Of course, there are some subjects that AUBG does not yet have, where, for example, like creating new innovative ideas or this kind of subject that I actually am taking right now. But actually, these technologies, they not only help other people to get to know AUBG, but also maybe it will help other universities somehow to collaborate together with AUBG, and they see that AUBG cares about their like reputation, and they will want to have like some kind of collaboration project or something. They can work together.
Will your appreciation of this place change if these kind of materials were online? Do you think it makes a difference for each one individually? It does. Do you think it can be in some way producing a damage, a problem with you? No? Okay.
An example from AUBG, the most wanted accounting course in AUBG is with Professor Alfred, and all his classroom materials are available online, recorded. And this speaks for itself that it even adds value to the students in this university since they want to take the class with them.
Okay. Yes, Konstantin?
If I'd like to take it further, let's say that every lecture given at AUBG would be online. I don't think that we who actually pay tuition, we would say, oh, it decreases our value because somebody cannot pay any tuition but just watch it online. But I don't think the case, because it's not the same. Like, he's not going to be actually involved in the project. He's not going to feel he's not going to feel the need to participate in it because he paid money. And so it's going to be like, I think he'll just be like an observer, so he's not going to get the same value. While at the same time, I can, for example, skip a lecture and then watch online the recording of it. Or go back to a lecture, see how, for example, I presented during it, and go over my presentation again, see what I could have done differently. See, like, go through something else, like go through some discussion again.
Okay. So I believe you got plenty of feedback on what you're doing. And I'm very happy to have been here with you, share some ideas of how Michael Porter is once again so relevant for your life. So we'll see each other, many of you, tomorrow and some of you on Friday. Thanks for being here. And if interested, we continue this discussion in class. I don't know whether our guests would like to say something at that point to the audience.
I just raised the question of quality. Should there be some mechanism of quality control of what we put out there?
Okay.
I mean, which certainly enhances or detracts from your reputation.
Right.
Should there be some monitoring of that? Maybe not all that is on AUBGTalks is good.
Okay.
Or reflects well.
Okay. I think that's a legitimate question of how we judge what is appropriate and supportive to the image we would like to project and what is not. Because there is a lot of experimentation, of course, we are at the university going on campus. So I would say that I think it's a legitimate question, and we should probably think of a mechanism for quality control for that.
I think the other thing is that AUBG has got to be a player at some point. I don't know what level. This is in terms of courses and online. My own feeling is that certainly now should be used to supplement our own education, either individually or standalone classes that might be taken. The issue still, as was said, is how do you monitor it? What's the security? People taking and being tested and getting the credential. But I think we have to be a player, at least that we're in that game. There's great fear among many private colleges in the United States that this could, be a doom for them. That the small private, that if you can get all of this online, for a very low cost. I think that's doomsday prediction is not going to be true. I think they'll close, but not for that reason. That it won't be the internet that put them out of business. It'll be their cost and their low enrollments as well. But I think we need to be a player at some point. Not sure just what. But I agree with the comment that we need to be in that game, in that league, and people recognize us that we're in that game of those kind of schools that have that capability, and that we have something to offer. How we get there, I'm not sure yet.
Thank you.
Worry about quality.
Quality. We should, I mean, we all should think about that.
I mean, you put crap on, it's not going to reflect well.
Right. Right. I agree.
We can invite Professor White, business ethics professor.
To monitor. Your question.
I think AUBGTalks is a very important project because basically when you put a video online, you can prove to students and young people that actually there is quality there. Because if it's just words and writings and opinions about courses and different stuff on campus, it's kind of, when people have so much information thanks to the internet, they're more willing to be, not to trust this. I mean, because all institutions have the opportunity to put online different things, and basically it may turn into boasting, and just because higher education is all about market, and basically, as you said, many universities are trying to decrease the requirements so that they can get more people there. So it's really important that you put quality information there and information that can be proved to be trustworthy.
Right, and I think everything hinges on the credibility of the speakers then, because how else can we communicate to somebody that what we have on campus actually is worth it? We have to free write on some mechanism that does that for us, and I believe the credibility of the speakers can be one of those.
And about quality control, maybe it would make more sense not to control the quality of the videos taken, but not to filter out presentations, but just to make sure all the presentations given a good quality. Right.
And maybe have kind of short bios that show very clearly why this person was given the opportunity to talk to the audience and say what is great about his career, about his contribution to the region, maybe in terms of politics, economics, and so forth. So I think we should be emphasizing the credibility of the speaker through his past experience and achievements.
Usually the introductions are on the videos, so they are actually on there. And right now the only videos up here are the ones that were invited guest lecturers to the school. So, and there's a little summary of each one as well.
Okay, another question up there. I'm going to take 2 more questions and we say goodnight to everybody. So,
I want to ask if the audience thinks that these videos should be extended to some of the extracurricular activities here. Because this showcases the guest speakers which come on campus, and AUBG is famous not only for its academic curriculum but for its extracurricular opportunities as well. So if this is a part of advertising AUBG, should the extracurricular activities be advertised in this way as well?
I just want to make one comment that this is not, right now this is an independent project. It's not technically an advertisement for AUBG. It may be one day, it can be used that way, but it's not really, this is just that. So I just want to be clear about that.
And the last question?
I'll just comment on what you said, and I think you have to be more precise and more aimed at one point, just speaking about the talks, it's going to be more successful than just kind of speaking a little bit about everything. And plus, this particular talks format is really popular now. Many companies started, there's Google Talks, there is other Microsoft Talks and stuff like that. So just to kind of get on the wave and have AUBG Talks seems to make more sense than just kind of make another attempt to review everything that's happening on campus.
Okay. So, thank you very much for spending the evening with me. I hope this discussion added something to your understanding of what exactly you're doing on campus. And thanks a lot to Mike and Luis for being here tonight. And thank you for doing that.
And thank you.
Thank you.
This program is brought to you by AUBG Talks. For more, please visit us at aubg.bg/talks.